I be sparking and rushing mad like inside the dark. Call me Will Snatcher, just a brother for the rapture. I hang glide, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The guards work like appliances, dealing in my same like a lot.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generations discussion. And today I want to talk to you guys about something that needs to be addressed following the fallout from Boruto chapter 71, which is Kawaki's power level. In the lead up to this chapter, from the moment we saw him quickly adjust into the power of his newly awakened Karma Seal during his battle with Code, and the follow-up battle that took place with Momoshiki controlling Boruto's body, we've seen more than one character look at Kawaki in fear that Amado was creating a miniature Isshiki Otsutsuki. However, I want to take things a step further here, and I want to ask the question and potentially answer the question of, can Kawaki actually surpass Isshiki's power level? Being honest with you, I do believe narratively that that's where we're heading, and I feel like they set the stage for this with very subtle foreshadowing, which is actually somewhat brilliant. So we previously saw Amado state that if Isshiki was allowed to place the Karma back on Kawaki's body once Jigen had died, that Isshiki's true power will be something that no one could ever hope to oppose. However, this is where the narrative behind Kawaki surpassing Isshiki really comes into play right here. So if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, then you know I've consistently said two things. Number one, I believe that whoever has the Karma Seal, while they can gain the power and the experience and the abilities of the Otsutsuki who gave them that seal, there's a cutoff as to how much of that power they can access even after they've hit 100% extraction and mastery of Karma, something that we know to be confirmed because both Kashin, Koji, and Naruto have both confirmed that there is a massive jump in power between Jigen and Isshiki, and even what we've seen Kawaki do, Kawaki is not using his dojutsu at the same level as Isshiki. Now, number two, you guys know I've been saying this for a while, which is that Boruto's story has been working towards the narrative of trying to answer the question, can science and ninjutsu coexist in the ninja world together, which I've discussed in detail in my video, The Rise of Scientific Ninja Tools in Naruto Explain, which I recommend checking out after you watch this video. So with Kawaki, we're seeing right now the very thing I was talking about, and I'll explain to you how. So Kawaki's Karma might be from an alien parasite, but the way in which he was given the Karma back again, it was Amado who placed the Karma back onto his body using science when the battle with Isshiki was done. Kawaki's whole body is a byproduct of science because Amado mechanically enhanced his body with ninja tech and nanotechnology and made use out of Hashirama cells, which I already discussed in a very lengthy video about how strong the Kara members are. Now, he's gotten the Karma Seal all over again because of science. However, Kawaki isn't just a human mechanically altered by science. He's also a cyborg child who was trained in the art of ninjutsu, which is very important to keep in mind as we move forward. So Kawaki got trained first by the vessel for the strongest Otsutsuki who we've ever seen when he got trained by Jigen, aka the vessel of Isshiki Otsutsuki, and he was directly trained by Naruto, who is the strongest shinobi who's ever walked the face of the planet. Kawaki's sensei tree is really impressive when you consider that. When we also consider that Kawaki's father was apparently a pretty good shinobi during the Fourth Great Ninja War, something we found out in the anime original scene about Kawaki's father and Kawaki's origin story, we know that Kawaki has the blood of a shinobi, the training from the strongest shinobi to ever live, and the power of the strongest Otsutsuki to ever live. Kawaki right now is at a point where he's going to be able to begin using Otsutsuki powers with his ninjutsu training, and if he does, it's game over, and Kawaki has the potential to be even deadlier than what we saw when Momoshiki took control of Boruto's body. When Momoshiki was controlling Boruto, not only did he use the true essence of Karma, but he also used Boruto's ninja arsenal better than Boruto, and it's worth noting Boruto's something of a genius, so that's really impressive when you consider that. Momoshiki strategically used the Vanished Rasengan to target Sasuke's organs in the moment when Sasuke cut off his Sharingan to save chakra after his Rinnegan was destroyed. He also used the compression Rasengan differently than Boruto. Instead of running a bit of risk and running up and smacking somebody with it and damaging himself like Boruto previously had to do, Momoshiki modified it into the Rasengan, and he shot out the compression Rasengan as a bullet, giving the punch of a compression Rasengan without any of the worries about the damage that is going to be done to his body because of the recoil from the jutsu. Momoshiki was able to do that. So imagine what Kawaki could do, especially if Kawaki does something that we've never seen him do yet in the series, which is develop his own signature unique jutsu. Everything we've seen him do up to this point has been basic. His ninjutsu is basic elemental change in chakra nature. His Otsutsuki powers that he uses are the basic jutsu that Ishiki's dojutsu has. The Sukuna Hikona to shrink objects and to shrink himself, and jutsu, and the Daikokuten that is used to store objects in the dimensions and to summon those objects. For Kawaki, the next step in his training is to develop his own unique jutsu while under Naruto's watchful eye, and I don't think it's by mistake that his primary chakra nature is fire release. Fire release isn't a chakra nature that is used by somebody thinking about support or defense. It's purely for offense. The only time we've seen it ever used in a defensive manner, purely for defense, was in that barrier jutsu, the Uchiha Flame Formation Jutsu that Obito used to protect the Ten Tails. Exceptions to the rule don't make the standard. The manipulation of fire release via change in chakra shape requires insane skills, something that we've seen Sasuke do with his Mangekyo Sharingan ability to manipulate the shape of his Amaterasu. So far, outside of Sasuke's Blaze Release, we haven't seen a fire release jutsu that applies change in chakra shape to the extent where it's significant in the manga. Like, we've seen fireballs get shot out, but we've yet to see fire release condensed down and contained into a shape outside of Sasuke. Given how quickly Kawaki has learned the ways of the ninja, it's safe to say that he's a bit of a prodigy. The walking on a tree jutsu requires focusing a fixed amount of chakra to the feet, and if there's too little chakra, the person falls, and if there's too much chakra, the person falls as well. Kawaki did all this in one go, but the most impressive thing here is that Kawaki was able to master a change in chakra nature in only a few months of training with Naruto, which is very impressive given that we know from Naruto's manga when Asuma and Shikamaru were learning that Naruto was learning change in chakra nature, both of them were surprised because that was something that was considered to require years of change in chakra nature drills to be able to pull off in most cases, which is important to note. Again, the exceptions to the rule do not make the standard. People like Sasuke and Temari who master change in chakra natures as a Genin, they're exceptions to the rule, especially Sasuke who has 2 changes in chakra nature as a Genin. That's something that's not expected of anybody until they reach a Jonin level. That's why they were standouts among their peers during the Chunin exams, because you didn't have a lot of Genin using change in chakra nature like that, but the ones who did were an absolute monster to deal with. That's also why members of Boruto's generation who can use chakra natures, especially multiple chakra natures, have a leg up on the members of the generation who can't, because they are exceptions to the rule. Kawaki adding a change in chakra nature is already impressive, but when you consider the powers of the karma, it becomes very scary to think of what he can do when combining this power with this ninja training. Kawaki shrinking his fire release and storing it into his Daikokuten dimension only to summon it back out for sneak attacks. It isn't crazy or far-fetched. We saw Ishiki do it against Baryon Mode Naruto in the anime version of the fight, where when they're fighting on top of the lake, Ishiki summons Kashin Koji's True Essence Flames and shoots them off at Naruto. If Kawaki's understanding of chakra that comes from Ishiki's karma makes him able to understand chakra to the point where he's able to use change in chakra shape to make chakra weapons out of his fire release, that becomes more deadly when we consider the Sukuna Hikona's ability to shrink and resize objects, or in this case, resize jutsu. The same level of creativity that we've seen Momoshiki use while controlling Boruto, we stand a good chance of seeing that with Kawaki. When we consider the anime, he's been written as somebody who believes that the way the shinobi is outright wrong, and we saw that very clearly in the Funato Clan arc that the Boruto anime just wrapped up, which over the course of that arc, as well as the Kawaki becomes a Genin arc, we saw Kawaki growing more dissatisfied with the way of the shinobi, and in Boruto chapter 58, he grows so annoyed with the way that the Shinobi do things that he flat out says that Car's way was better, and he attacks Team 7 during their clash of ideals, which turns into a physical fight. It's entirely possible that he leans heavier into only using the power of his karma and his ninja tech, but given his reaction in the manga during the flash forward sequence where his eyes narrow when he sees Boruto say that he's still a shinobi and he puts on his headband, I don't think we're past that point of Kawaki completely throwing away the way of the shinobi entirely. Him getting a change in chakra nature that was meant purely for offense is something I do believe was not done by mistake, and I do think that he's going to incorporate that in conjunction with his karma moving forward. That power and that skill as a ninja, that understanding of how chakra works and how chakra can be increased through physical and mental training, on top of the boost from karma and his tenacity when he uses ninja tech, I do believe we might very well see what Ishiki saw in Kawaki, which is somebody who has the potential to be an ultimate weapon to be used. That being said, I'm very curious to hear from you guys. Do you guys think that Kawaki can surpass Ishiki?